Aloha, friends and neighbors. Show 882 coming at you. I'm here on the 10th of October, and I'm rather amazed today. Pluto's still acting very strong. Remember, I figured 20 days on either side of a station, but Pluto, let's see, how shall I start this? Carl Jung called it synchronicity. You know, if you're trying to break out of the American Western consciousness of I got free will and rich men are heroes, to start understanding astrology takes some consciousness change. And one of the first changes Carl Jung, the great psychologist, had was synchronicity, he called it. Things are happening at the same time, and they seem to be strangely related. So here goes. I got up this morning and there's these two little black kittens that have started coming into my living room and playing in the morning, and I'll give them the leftover cat food from Lima, my 5-year-old cat. And Lima tolerates them, even has played a little bit, but there's one now. Hey, come here. But this morning it was different. Now this is a sweet little kitten. Never loves Lima, Lima didn't go after her so much as there's another one, not the same litter, but looks the same age, and they play. And my cat came in and took one look at what was going on. I was give my cat breakfast in a place these guys can't eat. And then, anyway, Lima got really angry, growling. She went after the other cat, and chased her right out of the room. Went to chase the cat off the lanai here. It's not like Lima at all. So I picked Lima up. I said, "That's okay. What's wrong?" And she just sat here in my arms and went. She's talking while she's growling. She didn't want those cats in her space. They call that territoriality. It's a function of the brainstem, the function of your Scorpio, your Pluto mind. Okay. Okay. Next thing I find out. See, I have one neighbor here who's an eccentric, even crazy lady. Once tried to poison a cat for going into her yard. And she's got the condo behind her that makes a bunch of noise, nothing she can do. They just tented the place. She's got a guy next door building a house, nothing she can do. She's got a house opposite her that's a vacation rental. People yell and holler, nothing she can do. But she focuses on us, because we're unconventional. I don't keep a lawn. I have beautiful big trees. I like everything au natural and organic. So in the past we've kind of allowed her bitching. But she's learned that there's a thing. You can make a complaint to the health department about nothing. And the health department will go and scare that person and say, "We got to come and make an inspection." Now I know the health department guys, and I just got a call. "Gee, there's been a complaint about trash." I don't have any trash problem. I have a problem with a neighbor. So I said, "Well, who made the complaint?" "Oh, we can't tell you." What? What happened to my constitutional right to face my accuser? No, they won't tell you. So whoever is doing this, now there's a couple of ramifications. This is all Pluto, okay? One of them is, if a complaint gets made on you and they won't tell you who it is, you've got a sneaky person off there someplace sneaking up on you, sabotaging in secret, doing things. Now the health department guys, they love it because they don't have to deal with any of this. What happens is they come in, they do nothing, make a report. But what they've done is they've made the homeowner or the business owner really scared and paranoid that there's somebody out there reporting him. And he looks at all of his neighbors with suspicion. So this health department policy of allowing these complaints and keeping secret the complainant, that's Nazi Germany crap, okay? It's the same way as the police started this a few years ago. Call us up and turn somebody in, and we won't tell anybody you did it. Well, anyway, the third thing that came up is really kind of interesting. Oh, this lady, by the way, as crazy as she is doing this all out of a misplaced sense of territoriality. that's what it is. She doesn't have much territoriality left. But the one soft spot is us, because we're good-hearted and generally don't retaliate. Because most people, it goes into little battles in neighborhoods where they complain to the building department, this is too close to or the health department, or that's about it. And then that neighbor complains back, and they complain back, and our wonderful government employees can use their precious time playing and keep everybody's identity secret, and the whole place goes into paranoia because of their secrecy policy. So I don't like that, and I'm going to see what I can do to talk to the health department, because it's one of my alma mater. I mean, I work for them, I know how they work, but this policy is really bad for folks, and it allows those who, well, never mind. Here's another one. Curious seal bites triathlete. Now this happened right down here at Kamakahonu, right in Kona, and we got all the Ironman guys in here now, and they swim fast out there. Whew. They don't watch where they're going sometimes. And we got them on the road with the bicycles and the runners, and it's really kind of a hazardous situation. So we go through a lot every time the Ironman comes here, probably to make money for a few businesses. But upshot is, they say curious seal bites triathletes. That seal wasn't curious. That seal said, hey, this is my bay, Kamakahonu. I sleep on the beach, and here are all you people from all over the world swimming much too fast right in my space, and he nipped two of them pretty good. So there's the cat. Oh, Lima. Come on over here, Lima. Lima, come here. See, the little black cat's keeping his distance. My black and white tuxedo cat Lima has policed the area. Anyway, territoriality. So in one day I've had 3 instances, a human being gone, crazy wrong with Pluto power, a health department dude that knows me and calls me up and knows this is a harassment thing from this lady, but goes and follows through like it's, a real thing. Cats chasing each other out of my main cat's territory. And finally the seal. Really 4 things in one day, all of them with misplaced territoriality, sneaking around, like government snipers with guns. What else do I want to tell you? Oh, Roger Christie, it said, is getting out of jail in about 3 months. He made a plea bargain with the prosecutors, P for Pluto. And in the 3rd paragraph explaining this, one of the part of the deal was that he goes down for some minor charge, and he'll get a year's probation or something. They kept him in jail for 3.5 years with no civil rights. And the little sentence said, and Roger Christie's wife will not have to serve any jail time while she waits for the charges against her. What happened? Prosecutors blackmailed, extorted Roger Christie into dropping the whole thing about religious right to herbs and pot because he had to protect his wife. They went after his wife. That happened to me on Kauai. They went after my wife and my little 1-year-old to get me to sign off on something. They're not prosecutors. They're extortionists and blackmailers, and that's the way they work here. A lot of the country works that way. It's too bad. It's not the America I always hoped for when I grew up. But hopefully it will change. If it doesn't, Heil Hitler. We're down that path pretty fast. So don't mind me. I'm just fed up with the whole thing. And I'll get over it. Just takes a little time to change your attitude. Remember, your attitude is your free will. Yeah, shit happens on this as you're going through life. The funny thing here is the synchronicity between the cats, the seal, the crazy neighbor, the health department guy going through the motions figuring he can get away with terrorizing and nobody will say a thing. Like, out there, health department, I may just go ahead and saying, no, I'd like to go to court and test this business of you keeping the complainant's name secret. I don't think that's constitutional somehow. Anyway, it needs to be tested. Maybe it could be stopped. Long ago in Honolulu, I had a policeman assault me. It went to trial. We lost it at the state level because of a local Japanese judge who threw out the count against the county. And we had said the county trained this guy in choking, and it was about choking. And the judge said, oh no, you didn't name the name of the trainer. So they threw that count out. All we had was a couple of policemen. The jury wouldn't give me money from them. But what happened was, after we appealed at the Supreme Court and they wouldn't do anything on it, my name came up in the law books, and the case is kind of famous if you go to law school. As an example of dotting your I's and crossing your T's, I guess. But upshot was, nobody in Hawaii has been choked since I lost that case. You could say I lost it. I didn't get any money. It cost me $1,000, but I stopped all the police forces in these islands from choking people with my lawsuit. So, I don't think I'm going to lay down and go into a fetal position here. I'm too old for that. Something needs to be fixed. I'll make a try at fixing it. I'll let you know what happens. In the meantime, let's go look at the sky mirror. You know, we had a new moon opposing Uranus, so I expected I would be attacked because I'm pretty Uranus character. And I've had my share of trouble. You know that if I send a DVD through the mail to the mainland and it's in pencil, not pen, the address, the machine won't read the pencil. And it kicks it out, and it takes 3 weeks for a human person to come by and do it. That also happens, I think I've discovered, if your stamps aren't spaced dress right, dress in little squares, the machine won't read it. You know, I made a line of stamps curved down on an envelope, didn't get there for 3 weeks. So I'm learning about the ins and outs of the mail service and the peculiarities. But maybe I'll go learn a little bit about the health department policies of going around terrorizing people on unsubstantiated complaints. Even more things that they know are harassment, and yet they still go through the motions. Maybe they need to take a look at their policies. Maybe I'll just ask them what their policies are for a starter. Anyway, let's go look at the sky mirror. You've still got a little while while that new moon opposes Uranus and squares Pluto. You've still got time for more action, more quakes, more tornado, hurricane kind of stuff. And I haven't given up on my predictions, although I'll tell you this, I may have goofed, because my prediction for a certain time period, when we went through that time period, there were hurricanes. And they were hitting over here on this side of the Pacific and Hong Kong area, and over here in Acapulco, and they trashed both areas, the same latitude we're on, but they missed us in the middle. So anyway, I hope it was my goof. I wish I had time to follow up on some of these things. Maybe it'll get more clear as we go along. Anyway, if you prepared a little bit for a big blow or an electrical outage, don't worry, your preparations are good. You may need them yet. Come on, let's go do the sky mirror. You know, the thought passes that the building department has the same policy of anonymous callers keeping their names secret. I don't know if you have to sign a paper. I mean, what's going on? The police department, I can see that they would keep a complaining person's identity secret because somebody might retaliate. But, I mean, my goodness, if that was the case, they already got the guy's name. The police would know right who it was that retaliated. So I don't understand this thing, except that the different inspectors and officers, you know, they can come and tell you an anonymous person is complaining and we want to inspect you or check your papers or, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, that's like Nazi Germany. That shouldn't be. So, anyway, maybe I'm tilting at windmills. What's going on in the sky mirror? Let's talk about your world for the next 10 days, huh? I like this old banner, that's what you call it. This thing was off of that was back when I was in print over 20 years ago. This was the top piece on an astrology column that I wrote weekly. It was a tourist thing too. I really like the Earth astrologer. I need to do more of that. Let's find out what's going on. Where are we at on the time track, huh? The sun has gone into Scorpio. Oh, I guess that's why I'm dealing with all these Scorpio characters. Secret. Oh, all the black corporations, all the people who are secret. And I mean, we put an awful lot of our tax money into folks doing this, whose job is to terrorize us. I don't know. Think about it. You got a week while the sun's in Scorpio. New information's going to come out. I'm just going to run the moon around this pattern of planets here and see what happens as it makes angles to various things. But right off, when the sun goes into Scorpio, it trines Neptune. Neptune are the privileged people, the oil barons, the drug, companies. Yes, those Republicans with their pockets full of money. I call them priest, artists, doctor, musicians. But the sun, most of us feel like, oh, it's okay if let the natural gas people get the tax break. Gosh, are you kidding? The natural gas people are telling you it's okay to burn natural gas. And it's no damn different than burning diesel or gasoline or whatever. It takes so much carbon to get you so much, natural gas is not the answer to global warming. It's just a happy trip for a bunch of oil company people. But I guess a lot of our politicians think they're doing good. Now the sun is about to go by Saturn, huh? In about 10 days, the sun will be on Saturn here in Scorpio. It's going to trine Jupiter, and normally this means Republicans and Democrats make some deals and try to get along, conservatives and progressives. But what I see is that they're behaving on the large scale just like the guys on the small scale. Stay behind my desk, stay out of trouble, don't make waves, I got to keep my government paycheck, and that's what's going on. Do as little as possible. If somebody shakes you up, scare them a little bit. Okay. Anyway, deals are being made here, and they're not necessarily in the favor of the people. Here's the moon running around the edge of the chart, and if you're watching the Thursday show, well, you're in the zap zone, huh? No wonder your astrologer is acting up, because on Thursday, here was the new moon opposing Uranus, and everything squared it. If you think over these things I'm talking about, later on tonight, the trine to Saturn happens, maybe some good sense will come through, and you'll be talking about it Friday morning. And then Friday here, on the 25th, the moon's still in Cancer, and it goes by Jupiter. Hooray, everybody going to laugh and have fun. But I'll tell you, Thursday you're in the electric zap zone. There's quakes, and there's all this stuff making you feel alone. So I don't know what you're celebrating for Friday, but look out. You might be celebrating the wrong thing. On Saturday, October 26th, the moon moves into Leo, squares the sun. What am I doing? What did I do? I can't make a plan. Hard to get things done when the moon squares the sun. About midnight, there's a trine to Uranus, and the higher mind comes in. Do what everybody else wants you to do. Well, you can't always do that, can you? Hey, what happened to the environment? Republicans and Democrats are arguing over foolishness that they make themselves. They should stop the pot war, get everybody out of jail. They should deal with the environment. They should deal with the loss of middle class. They should be doing some job and supporting people instead of bickering. It's smokescreen, that's what it is. And you'll be ticked off about it Sunday. Sunday morning, the moon squares Saturn. In the afternoon, it squares Mercury. Bad talk. What are these guys doing? How come they're wasting our money like this and they're not doing the job they're supposed to? I don't know. Seems like it's the same every year. Monday, moon's still in Leo when you get up. There is a nice trine to Venus. You might want to stay in bed late and luxuriate a little bit. There's some sweets there. It changes after dinner. The moon moves into Virgo Monday night, the 28th. And when it does, things get strange. There's an opposition to Neptune. And Mars is here. Mars, Tuesday morning is opposing Neptune. Fires and fights. Oh boy. Did he say fights? Yep. And injuries. Because Mars is much too close to the opposition to Neptune. I mean, Neptune's here at midnight, Monday night. And the opposition there is don't drink alcohol. And be careful with drugs and liquids in general. And in being too idealistic. Your idealism or your religious values or something could get challenged Tuesday morning when the moon goes by Mars. It's sextile the sun. A lot of men think, they know what they're doing here Tuesday. And it's physical stuff. There's a trine to Pluto also Tuesday afternoon. And it seems like the deal is done. And then Tuesday night, here's a sextile to Mercury. It's talked out. Might sign the agreements. Saturn comes along too after dinner, along with Mercury, and says, "Hey, make this contract and freeze this into cement." And something is happening here. It's all happening in Virgo. I hope there's a health component to it someplace. But the action is certainly on Tuesday. Wednesday almost looks like a day not to do much because there's a square to old Mercury here. Well, that's not Mercury. That's Venus. It's a day of being lazy on October 30th. Happens after, in the afternoon and into dinner time. And, eat light. The less you eat, the better. Ben Franklin said he'd never seen a man die of starvation, but he's seen hundreds, thousands die of too much food. Well, Thursday, the whole scene changes. The moon's gone into Libra. It's October 31st. You're in the shaky zone. Thursday night, the moon opposes Uranus. Now, this is where the new moon was. Remember, there was a new moon at 11 degrees of Libra. It opposed Uranus. Nobody likes the media. I found out the Postal Service delayed a lot of my DVDs getting onto the internet because I sent it to the mainland, and it turns out if you address an envelope in pencil, the computer doesn't read it and it kicks it out, and it has to be done by hand, which takes 2-3 weeks. Yes. The other thing is, put your stamps right in a row. Like I put a whole row of them, and so I dribbled the line down a little bit, envelope. And if the stamps aren't all in a row, the computer can't read it, kicks it out, back into the pile where it has to be done by hand. 3 weeks later, it might get done if you're lucky. So, yes, they're selective. It's all going through computers. So I use pen now, black ink pen. And I dress my stamps, and we'll see what happens. But here's glitch. Here's this new moon. Here's all the pent-up anger you've got against, the crummy newspaper they give us in Kona, the right-wing propaganda machines that you get in Hilo and Kona, and their so-called green paper. I mean, same corporation doing all this stuff, trying to brainwash us. And it looks like they're going to move the big NSA office up to Poakaloa. I mean, they built a zillion-dollar road. Got to find some use for it. Eek! It's the DOD. It's the snoopers. It's a jittery Thursday afternoon and evening. And it's a time when you could get earthquakes. In fact, it's the peak of the last quakey time and the last twirly time for hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes. And I think it should mellow out after that. However, as you go into Friday, November 1st, the moon's still in Libra. And here's what is that? Oh, that's a square to Jupiter. That's just a whole bunch of rain and overdoing things. Yeah, Friday. But look at there. There's Venus. There's a sextile to Venus, and it's Friday night. Friday is Venus's day. It's named after Freya, the Norse god of love and sex and the beautiful diva. That's Freya. That's where your Friday comes from. So Friday night's a good time to be with someone you love, no question. Saturday, stay in bed just a little bit. The moon will be in Scorpio when you get up. You're headed towards a new moon. And by golly, you're on the north node and you've got good angles to Neptune. You're inspired. You know, you got good angles to a lot of the planets here are piled up. That kind of looks pretty good. The new moon will be here. And maybe I better take a look at it, because there is a nice Mars sextile and there's a lot of physical action going on here and good talk, and everybody thinks that they've got it together because Saturn and Mars and Neptune and the Sun are all there together having a big meeting. Oh yes, let's do this. Of course they're going to leave out you know who, your environment, the people, the unions, etc. You know, pump up the military. My goodness, we spend more on our military than the whole rest of the world put together. What's that about? I don't know. Doesn't do any good to grouse. I'll just pick a little battle someplace and fight it out and see what happens. That's what you all have to do. Just pick your battle and, you know, stand up. All right, I'm going to get back to Earth astrology. Here's a quickie brief review on that October 4th new moon opposing Uranus, because it's gone all the way around and you're about to take the last shot of it. Okay, first hot spots over here on the total west side of Africa. And there's Uranus in the midheaven, and the sun and moon at the bottom worrying about homes. A little panicky down here towards the bottom because of Pluto. A really scary place is over here where Uranus is on the descendant, fear of quakes and tornadoes and things running down through the very tip of India here. Okay, here's your third hot spot. This is New Zealand. Okay? And here is Uranus at the bottom of the chart. Here's the Earth shaking and disruptions in the home. Okay, here's the personal one. You step out of line, everybody gonna get you and put you in jail. Anyway, here's Mexico coast gets hit, and right up through the U.S. here. Don't step out of line. It's the nail that sticks up that gets knocked down.